Hey guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 87. I'm your host, Pam. And I want to start this episode with a question that may be a little bit challenging. Have you ever watched someone who you know 100% that they have less experience than you, that maybe they're less talented than you, they're less prepared than you, and you watch them kind of pass you by? Like, they're growing, they're winning, and you're happy for them and they're building something for themselves, but you're sitting there thinking to yourself, how? And if you're honest, it's, a little bit frustrating. It's frustrating because you know what you're capable of. You know that you got this, that your talent is there, your experience is higher than theirs. But today I want to talk to you about the truth that most people don't want to hear. And that truth is that it's not about talent, it's about consistency. And the person who shows up every day, even in an average way, in an imperfect way, will always outperform the person who only shows up when they feel inspired. So let's get straight to it. Talent is overhyped. It's overrated. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm not saying it's not worth something. I'm not even saying that it's not good, but it is overrated. Talent is just potential. It's a starting point. You have a talent, a natural talent for something, but if you don't harness it, if you don't focus on it, it's not going to matter. It's not the only thing that creates results. You can be the most talented person in a room, but if you don't show up consistently, it doesn't matter. Someone who is average in the meantime, but they're disciplined. They're someone who harnesses their craft. They keep going when it's boring. They keep going when it's inconvenient, when it's hard, when, maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe the logistics don't make sense for them to keep going. They will pass you every time because consistency compounds and talent without consistency fades. So we're going to talk a little bit about the struggle of consistency. I'm sure you've come across this, maybe it's consistently giving your all at your job, or if you're a creator, if you're a podcaster, if you're a photographer, if you're anything that requires you to be consistent in some capacity, we all struggle with it. We all struggle with that kind of thing. And the real reason that consistency is hard, it's because we're conditioned to chase instead of just repeating. So once you've experienced a certain level of success in something, in let's say your craft, you're constantly trying to outshine your last, come up or your last accomplishment. So instead of just repeating, doing the same thing over and over and over and just harnessing your craft and sharpening that knife, we love this idea of going all in. Start fresh on Monday, start over on Monday, the diet starts Monday, having a burst of motivation. And in that burst of motivation, things go perfectly, everything is aligned, all the things work. But consistency is not quite as loud. Consistency is a little bit more on the side of you're just doing this one small thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And no one's clapping for you. There's no instant results. There's no this big euphoric moment, this big shine, and that feels boring. Your brain is attached to the intensity. It's attached to it always being fun. But what most people don't realize is that boring is where the results are built. The results are not built in the hype. They're not built in the motivation. They're not built in when everyone's watching, when everyone's clapping for you, when everyone shows up for, the award that you're getting for something. It's in the repetition. Consistency builds that trust with yourself. This is the part that has changed everything for me. because coming to the realization that consistency is not about the results, it's about the relationship that you have with yourself. Every time you say to yourself, I'm going to do this today, and you do it, you build trust. You build that consistency. Even if it's small, messy, inconvenient, it's not perfect, you start to be the you that follows through. And that confidence doesn't come from affirmations alone, though we do love a good affirmation. It comes from the evidence. It comes from proving to yourself over and over and over again, I show up, I don't quit, I keep going. I do the thing even when it's messy, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's exhausting. That's where real confidence is built. Dissecting that a little bit, this is why effort wins. So I'm going to give you like a simple example. You don't have to be exceptional every single day. That's not realistic. It's not realistic for you to be on 1,000 every single day, because if you're a woman, you know that every week is a different phase in your cycle. If you follow astrology. It's one of the two. But if you follow, let's say, space, that's a better one. You follow the planets, you know that a moon has phases. So the moon is not the same today as it was last Monday. It is changing often. The point is not to be exceptional every single day. It is just to not disappear. Because average effort repeated daily becomes powerful. So if you take 10 minutes a day to read a book, just 10 minutes, that's 60 hours in a year. So let's say, in an example, it takes you 3 hours to read a book if you read the 3 hours. That would mean that you can read 20 books in a year. One small action daily, that's 365 times. It's not small over time, it just looks small up front. But that's how you create momentum. Consistency lowers the pressure. You don't have to be incredible. You don't have to be out of this world. You just have to show up. And when you remove that pressure of having to be perfect all the time, you actually become more consistent, because you realize, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it looks today. It matters that I kept the habit. It matters that I showed up. I can give you a little bit of an example. I think I'm on day, like, I don't know. I'm nearing, I think, like 1,500 days, or maybe like, yeah, like 1,500 days, maybe 1,700 days of having read on my Kindle. Now, have I read on my actual Kindle every single day? No, I've opened the app every single day. Have I read physical books outside of my e-reader? Yes. And I count those days towards that momentum, towards that goal, because I'm still reading. And that is, for me, that is the goal, to read every single day. Some days that looks like 2 minutes. Some days that looks like reading in the car when I pull up to the house after the grocery store. Sometimes that's actually reading on the grocery store line, because there's just that many people and I need to pull something out and read for a few minutes. And other days it's going to bed with a book on my face, or waking up and the first thing I reach for is my book. The point is, I want to keep the habit. It's not so much the pressure. It's not that I care that anyone else knows that I read or not. It's that I care and it's important to me. So I'm going to give you a few tools, as I always do, that will help you with consistency. We're going to make this real, because motivating yourself, or listening to this podcast and then feeling motivated, that's great. I love that. But systems are what actually keep you going. So here are a few tools to help you build the consistency in your life. Number 1, the non-zero day rule. This is pretty simple. It means that every day you do something, even if it's tiny, even if it's 5 minutes, because the goal is not perfection. The goal is momentum. A 0 day is what breaks the cycle. So if you don't do anything on one day, that breaks the cycle. So a small day is still a day that it keeps your consistency alive. Number 2, minimal viable effort. Decide ahead of time what your bare minimum is that day. Not your best day, not your worst day. What will you do when you're tired, when you're busy, when you're unmotivated? What's the like, you know what, I'm going to put this pair of pants on today because I don't want to wear anything tight. I don't want to wear anything that's going to bother me in material. It's going to be these pants. Maybe it's 10 minutes of movement. Maybe it's just literally walking up and down the stairs 4 times because you're like, I need to get some steps in. I need to move my body. If you're writing a book, maybe it's 1 page of writing. Maybe it's 5 minutes of planning if that's kind of your kind of expertise. Maybe it's going through 10 images that from a gallery that maybe you've been putting off if you're a photographer. That's your baseline. And anything above that is a bonus. But it's just doing at least the very minimum effort. Number 3, habit stacking. Attach your new habit to something you already do. So maybe it's you drink coffee every day. How about you journal a little bit? Maybe after brushing your teeth, you stretch, or you stretch while you're brushing your teeth. After you put the kids to bed, you plan for tomorrow. This removes the ever-ending list of like, I need to remember to do X, Y, Z. It just becomes automatic. So, you don't need to remember to sit down and plan your day for tomorrow because you do it every time the kids go to bed. Number 4, track proof, not perfection. This one is very, very, very close to me because through my journey in motherhood and even previous to that, as I was a caretaker with my mom, I felt all the time like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like all the time I wasn't doing enough or like I was barely getting by. So I stopped tracking outcomes. I started tracking effort. Did I show up today? Yes or no? Did I do XYZ? Did I do my non-negotiables today? Yes or no? That's it. Because the results come later. Your habits help you with your consistency. That consistency starts now. Number 5, I don't miss twice rule. The I don't miss twice rule. This one is just to give it to you straight. You're human. You're going to miss a day. You're not going to work out 365 days for 2 hours every single day. You're going to miss a day, but you don't miss 2. 1 missed day, that's life. That's just the way it is. You didn't feel well this morning. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Maybe you had a little bit more cookies. Maybe you skipped a meal. Maybe you didn't take your vitamins today. Maybe you didn't drink enough water today. Whatever that looks like to you, that's okay. 1 day that's life. 2 days, it becomes a pattern. This rule alone is going to keep you on track more than anything else. This rule, I think, bundled with tracking proof and not perfection, those two together can really set you up to be consistent in absolutely anything that you're trying to achieve and who you're trying to become. I'm going to recommend 2 of my favorite books for you because I think that you can go deeper into this mindset. You can go deeper into just kind of developing this consistency over perfection for yourself. And that first one is Atomic Habits. This book is very, very easy to apply, to read. It's super practical. I will be honest, when I first read this book, I only read the first couple chapters and I didn't pick it back up until like a year later. I just wasn't ready to read it. So don't feel like if you've picked up Atomic Habits before and it didn't apply to you, don't feel like it doesn't apply now. And the second one is going to be The Compound Effect. This book I read typically once a year. It's a powerful reminder that your small choices, they shape your entire life. This book has taught me a lot about just saving money, applying different ideas, of making ideas, of all those kinds of things. It's a really powerful book and it's a very short book. I think it's only like 180 pages. The 2 books that I just mentioned, they're not overwhelming reads. They're kind of just something that you can start implementing right away and it can get you into that consistency mode. So I definitely recommend those. Before we wrap up, I want to call out a few things that are going to destroy your consistency if you're not careful. And that first one is waiting to feel ready. I know that you're listening to this episode right now and that's you. You're waiting to feel ready. You're waiting to start the podcast, to start the business. You're waiting to put yourself out there with jobs. You're waiting for the economy to get better. You're waiting to all the different things. The second one is you're setting goals that are too big to sustain. You cannot go and run a marathon if you've never run a day in your life. Number 3, going all in. This is definitely a consistency killer. I know a lot of people say to me like, "Oh, you don't understand. That's the kind of personality I have that it's all or nothing for me. It's all or nothing for me." And I'm here to tell you that it may be your personality to be all or nothing, but that's the fast track to burnout. So just keep that in check. And the last one, or should I say the second to last one, it's quitting after one bad day. Bad days happen. It's a bad day, not a bad life. And lastly, the biggest one that is a consistency killer is the all or nothing thinking. If I can't do it right, I don't want to put out anything bad, and so I'm not going to put anything out at all. I don't want to start showing up and like, what if I drop the ball and like all these things. If you can't do it perfectly, you don't do it at all. That is going to kill your consistency. That mindset is going to keep you stuck because consistency is not perfect. It's about returning again and again and again. So here's what I want you to take from this episode. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the most motivated. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be the person that shows up. Talent is going to get the attention. That's okay. Everyone deserves attention. There's enough attention to go around. But consistency builds a life. Consistency builds the person that you look in the mirror and you know that you've fought tooth and nail. That outside of the talent, the consistency brought you here. So the next time that you feel like you're not doing enough or you're not doing it perfectly, just ask yourself, did I show up today? And if the answer is yes, you're already winning. If this episode resonated with you, or if you haven't already, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And definitely, if this episode resonated to you, please pass it on. Share this episode, share it to someone. If you follow us on socials, I'm going to be doing something special soon. But if you follow us on socials, definitely let me know that you checked in. Let me know that you listened and that you showed up today and you showed out. And as always, I'll talk to you next week.